In the world of boxing, there is always a fine line between entertainment and greatness. When a fighter becomes more than just a competitor and turns into an entertainer, the public starts asking, when can I see that person again? When's his next fight? That is the essence of what makes a boxer a draw, because in this business, if you cannot put people in seats, you will not last. In the lead up to September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, all eyes are on Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence "Bud" Crawford, as the two prepare for what is being billed as one of the most fascinating yet controversial matchups in recent years. Many believe that Crawford has what it takes to do what no one has done to Canelo, while others are convinced that stepping up to this weight class at his age is simply too much to overcome. One analyst stated firmly that he has Crawford winning, predicting that Crawford will find a way to expose Canelo in a manner that the Mexican champion has never experienced before. He added that he did not need to attend Crawford's camp to recognize this. It was simply his belief in Crawford's ability to rise to the moment. But not everyone agrees. Israel Madrimov, who recently shared the ring with Crawford, argued that if Crawford bulks up to take on the heavier frame needed for super middleweight, it will be the biggest mistake he could make. Madrimov believes this adjustment will slow Crawford down and prevent him from being victorious against Alvarez. His comments echo a broader concern that adding size may hinder more than it helps. Mike Tyson, who trained with Crawford briefly, offered his own perspective. Tyson emphasized the importance of remaining calm before a fight of this magnitude. He reminded listeners that the true battle is always psychological. According to him, pressure is not about getting hit, but about the thought of being hit. Fighters often crumble under the idea of what might happen rather than what actually does. Tyson explained that if Crawford can control his mind and not let the occasion overwhelm him, he can fight at his best and make the challenge look easier than expected. He recalled his own experiences walking into the ring, saying that he always noticed everything and everyone, but the key was staying locked in and mentally unshaken. Amir Khan, who fought Canelo in the past, weighed in as well. He acknowledged the enormity of a potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown. Khan praised both fighters, noting that Canelo's experience is unmatched but pointing out that Crawford has genuine punching power. With Crawford adapting to higher weight classes, Khan argued that he now looks stronger than ever. He refused to label this fight one-sided, explaining that both men bring extraordinary skill sets and can alter the course of the match in a single moment. For Khan, the fight is not just another big event, but a true clash of elite talents. Other fighters reflected on their own experiences to make comparisons. Shawn Porter, for instance, recalled moments in his own fights where his legs tightened, forcing him to adjust mid-bout. His recollection highlighted the way fighters must adapt on the fly when the body does not respond as planned. The question is whether Crawford will be able to make similar adjustments if his body reacts differently at the heavier weight. Porter's story served as a reminder of the unpredictability of boxing, especially when competing outside a natural weight class. The concerns over Crawford's age have also been widely debated. By the time he steps into the ring against Canelo, Crawford will be 37 years old, just 2 weeks shy of his 38th birthday. Analysts caution that age affects speed, reflexes, and recovery, all crucial factors against an opponent as relentless as Alvarez. Though Crawford's skills remain sharp, his body may not respond the way it once did. Some analysts frame this fight as the greatest test of his career, not just in terms of technique, but in physical endurance and mental resilience. Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, enters the fight with a resume that speaks for itself. The Mexican superstar has 63 wins, only 2 losses, and 2 draws with 39 knockouts. He is a 4-division world champion and a 2-time undisputed champion, currently reigning as the undisputed super middleweight king. His ability to rise to different weight classes and still dominate has made him one of the greatest boxers of his generation. His camp and supporters argue that Crawford, despite his undefeated record of 41-0, does not have the same experience against fighters of Canelo's caliber. One of the central debates revolves around Crawford's preparation. His camp has been careful to emphasize that they are not making the same mistakes as Jermall Charlo, who looked overwhelmed when he fought Canelo after moving up in weight. Crawford has insisted that he is not Charlo, stressing his style, discipline, and superior ring IQ. His training has focused on movement, precision, and pacing rather than relying solely on strength. The camp has reportedly gone on media lockdown to avoid distractions as fight week approaches, underlining how seriously they are taking this challenge. Yet critics point out that despite all this preparation, the transition is still risky. Adding weight can compromise speed and agility, qualities that have defined Crawford's success. Photos circulating online show him looking bulkier, which raised eyebrows, though many analysts caution that images can be misleading due to angles and lighting. Still, the question remains whether the additional muscle will help him withstand Canelo's power or slow him down to the point of being vulnerable. Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez was blunt in his assessment. He dismissed Crawford's chances almost entirely, describing the fight as more like a sparring session for Canelo than a genuine contest. Sanchez argued that weight divisions exist for a reason, and that Crawford is simply too small to compete effectively with Alvarez. He pointed out that even elite fighters like Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol struggle to hurt Canelo despite their size and skill, so he doubts Crawford will fare any better. Sanchez added that if Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to build up strength at higher weights, he might stand a chance, but doing it in just over a year is too risky. Chris Algieri, a former champion himself, criticized the way this fight has been promoted. While many call it one of the biggest in boxing history, Algieri disagrees. He does not believe it stacks up against legendary matchups of the past that featured evenly matched fighters in their primes. For him, both Canelo and Crawford are no longer at their peaks, and the weight disparity makes the contest less compelling from a purist standpoint. He suggested that fans may be overestimating the drama of the bout, driven more by star power than by the actual competitive balance. Despite this skepticism, the fight has captured attention precisely because of its size. As Algieri himself admitted, the sport needs big events to stay relevant, even if they are not the purest matchups. With the fight being broadcast on Netflix, the hype and visibility are guaranteed. It may not be the best fight ever made, but it is undeniably a major event. Other analysts have compared the quality of opposition each fighter has faced. Showbiz the Adult, a popular boxing commentator, emphasized the disparity between their resumes. He argued that none of Crawford's opponents could realistically beat the level of fighters Canelo has consistently faced. Alvarez has squared off with the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol, Austin Trout, and Erislandy Lara, all of whom provided him with valuable experience. By contrast, Crawford's victories over fighters like Errol Spence, Kell Brook, and Sean Porter, while impressive, do not represent the same level of competition at higher weights. Still, Crawford's camp insists that his skills, discipline, and adaptability are enough to bridge the gap. Reports from his training show a heavy emphasis on strength conditioning, sparring that mimics Canelo's power, and drills designed to sharpen endurance. They are working on strategies to frustrate Alvarez with defense and counterpunching, hoping to offset his patient, stalking style. Crawford's ability to switch stances and adjust tactics mid-fight has always been his trademark, and his camp believes this will be the key to victory. Kell Brook, another fighter who once faced Gennady Golovkin and later fought Crawford, sided with Canelo when asked for his prediction. Brook acknowledged Crawford's talent and his victory over Errol Spence, but cautioned that Spence is not Canelo. He explained that Alvarez has proven himself repeatedly at higher weights, whereas Crawford is not. For Brook, this fight is perhaps the most difficult of Crawford's career, because never before has he faced such a complete fighter with so many advantages. While Brook respects Crawford's technical skills and IQ, he questions whether Crawford still has the legs to move effectively for 12 rounds at this age and weight. Brook compared the matchup to Floyd Mayweather's win over Canelo years ago, but clarified that Crawford is not Mayweather. While Mayweather's movement and defense neutralized Canelo back then, Crawford's style is different. He tends to set his feet more often, which could leave him open to Canelo's counters. Moreover, Canelo is not the same inexperienced fighter who faced Mayweather. He has grown smarter and more efficient with time. As the date approaches, the boxing community remains split. On one hand, there is admiration for Crawford's courage in taking on such a monumental challenge. On the other, there is skepticism about whether he can truly overcome the size, strength, and experience of Alvarez. Analysts point out that boxing history is full of great smaller fighters who dared to move up, but not all of them succeeded. In the end, it is the unpredictability of this clash that makes it so compelling. Both men are future Hall of Famers, both have legacies to protect, and both know that this fight will define the final chapters of their careers. When September 13th arrives in Las Vegas, fans will finally get their answers. Will Terence Crawford defy the odds, silence the doubters, and make history by conquering Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds? Or will Canelo, the proven champion at higher weights, remind everyone why weight classes exist and add another legendary win to his already remarkable career? Until then, the debates continue, the camps prepare in silence, and the boxing world waits for what promises to be one of the most intriguing nights in recent memory.